Sure. So, how's life after football treating you?
You know what? Uh, Pretty good, pretty good. I can't complain. Like my dad always says, every day you wake up and see the ceiling is a good day. Some days are just better than others.
Hey, I hear you. That's a good philosophy to have.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, Derek, how did you get involved with football as a kid?
Well, you know what? It's funny because I didn't play football to the ninth grade of real football, so to speak. For my junior high school.
Yes, sir.
Um, we played. I can't say the name of it because it would be politically incorrect. But I guess kill the carrier. I guess that's the game it was. I don't want to make anybody mad. For saying that the other game that we used to play. But the big guy upstairs had a plan for me, and I ended up being in Merritt Island, Florida, home of the Mustangs. And we called it God's country, but football was huge, huge there. And my parents and my mom would not let me play because she thought I'd get hurt. Even though I was always the biggest kid, the fastest, the strongest, she thought I'd get hurt. And then ninth grade came around. She let me play, and we ended up going 7-0, county champs. Finally beat Edgewood. My high school, the island where I lived on, only had two middle schools or junior highs, Jefferson Junior High and Edgewood Junior High, and one high school, Merritt Island. And so, very fortunate just to be at the right place, the right time. During the 80s, my high school produced numerous collegiate athletes, pro players. I played with three guys that played pro football. A couple guys before me played pro football. Names at baseball too. I mean, he also played in football in high school. Clint Hurdle, the skipper for I think it was the Cincinnati Reds when he won the World Series there. He was from my high school. Will Purdue played basketball from my high school. Bubba McDowell, Eric Ham, Jeff Wickersham, Joe Colburn, Leon Bright, Waldo Williams, numerous guys. Hurley Brown, Daryl Spencer, Cal Dixon. Those three there all played pro ball. Daryl was my year. He played like 4 years with the Falcons. Cal Dixon, I think he played like 5 years or so between the Jets and the Dolphins. Hurley Brown as well, Skins. So it was just in our, it's what we do. It's what we did. It was in the water. It was in our blood, basically. And so back then, that's when we had spring football. And so when ninth grade ended, my high school was only 10th through 12th. And I'm not gonna lie, when I went up to, when spring football started, I did not want to play varsity football because to me, those were like grown men. They were, at the whole place looked up to these guys like they were a college team. And so one thing led to another, ended up playing a little bit as a 10th grader on the varsity team. And junior year came around. We had a very good team. Off of that team, we were USA Today, 22nd in the country, number one in the state of Florida. Even though we were a small school, so to speak, we were what were we 3A, but I think we played like a 5A schedule. So literally, it's kind of funny, but I never took a yellow dog bus. We had Lynx buses everywhere. We had an offensive bus, defensive bus, pep squad bus, and then like 5, 6 band buses. So, the last one off the island turned the lights off, for every game.
I hear you,
Um,
man.
and it was insane. I mean, we had off of that team my junior year, and that's why I ended up being the number one tight end in the country, that year. We had two guys went to Miami. I went to Notre Dame. We had 4 or 5 went to Florida. Few went to UCF. 2 went to Tulane. Appalachian State. I can't think of all the rest of them off the top of my head right now. But we had 3 go to Auburn as well. So it was pretty insane, insanely
Definitely.
talented, and really great group of guys. And our head coach Gerald Odom, who is in the Florida Coaches Hall, the Hall of Fame, high school football. really had a lot to do with it as
Yes,
well.
sir.
All our coaches, Lee
So
Mays, Gerald
about
Hodge.
that culture that you guys built at that high school, what stood out to produce those all that talent to go to
You
college?
want to know why? Like with Merritt Island, I was just home a couple of weeks ago for the first time in like 20 some years, almost 30 years. And when you meet somebody from Merritt Island, no lie, the question's always, hey man, what is it with you guys from Merritt Island? All you guys act the same. And we have a cockiness about us. I guess some people might call it arrogance, but literally we're winners. And it's not just on the football field. We have Claude Tudor, who also played football. He was in the Air Force. I forget what type. He's like a something general who's now based in Honolulu. We have another one, Adrian Wood, who's married to my other best friend, Jim Craig, she was in, I think, Air Force Two or Navy in like a high up, position that she just, recently retired after a couple of years. At every single level, failure is not an option. And the reason why I say failure is not an option, you got to think Merritt Island is NASA, Cape Canaveral. So you have to pass our high school in order to get to the Cape. And that's where most of our parents lived or worked. Nobody was actually from there. Everybody was implants, came there to work on the space program. The object was, we got to get a man to the moon and back safely. And then when the shuttle program came, is we got to get this aircraft up and back safe. Everybody bought into it. Everybody from, the janitor at wherever, the high school, to the teachers. We had great teachers. We had great coaches. The school, I think, started in 1967. We had our first state championship in 72. We had back-to-back state champions in 78 and 79. Like it didn't matter. It was like, that culture was where we were winners. The whole world's watching us, right, with the space program. And even, we had to go out there and take it. It's not going to be given to you. You had to go out there and take it. And I don't know, that's just how it was for us. Like, you weren't going to beat any of us at anything. And we held everybody accountable. Like, as much as we talk noise about other people, other schools and stuff, we talk that same thing, with our boys. You weren't going to beat any of us at tic-tac-toe, at tetherball, at chess, whatever. It was like, I'm the best. And there's, you can't beat me, period. And that's just the attitude with everything that we took, everything that we did.
So that that environment that you were in at that high school, do you think that helped you carry that mentality to college at
Absolutely. Absolutely did. Absolutely. And it was funny too, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first 7 games my freshman year, I played somebody from my high school. And, granted, it's not, no, this isn't, De La Salle, in California. I get that, it's a bigger school. They definitely had more pros than we had. But for our little island, our little thing that we had down there, absolutely. And I think it had to do with just in my preparedness as well, because when I was in high school, for example, my weight program, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, I was the tallest. We had computerized workouts in 1987, 86, 87, 88. So basically, whatever the University of Florida did, we did. So we were cleaning, we were squatting, we had our workouts that were, computer generated, whatever system they used. And we did that. First period was PE. It was varsity football. During the football season, we watched film all the time, practice film, game film, and we'd lift. I mean, we did plyometrics, did rubber bands, parachutes. I know high schools now that don't do that stuff. And it's 2021. We were doing that in the 80s, and then I contribute that to, Coach McLean and our head coach, Gerald Odom, who I get, they were light years ahead of everybody. This is what I was brought up in. So when I made that transition to college, it really wasn't, I mean, my practices, we had 3-a-days in the Florida heat, with one water break, drinking water out of a PVC pipe that ran down like a trough, with holes put into it. And so, then the guys we played against in high school, we played against the Lamar Thomases, the Leon Cersei's, Horace Copeland, Randy Bethel. Those are the guys we played against in high school, that we saw every single week. So it just translated to, it wasn't that big of a transition, to be honest with you, going from high school to college. Going from college to pro, a little bit of a transition, meaning it was just that much faster, really. I mean, in college, when you catch a ball and you get tackled, one person, two people might be there. But in the pros, I mean, you could be 3 inches above the ground and somebody's coming, like just missed you because you got down just in time. These guys are freaks of nature. I think one of my friends, his son went to a football camp, Penn State camp, I think it was, and I think this probably puts it in the best perspective, where at the end of the camp, the head coach, I forget his name at the time, was saying like, hey, unless your son is a freak of nature, I'm not going to recruit him. At the D1 level, I'm not going to recruit him. And he's like, because it was all mostly moms there picking their sons up, and he's like, well, you can blame your dad for that one, but you gotta check boxes before. A lot of kids say they want to play D1, but I don't know if they really know what a D1 athlete really looks like. And this is 2.0. This is 2.0. We're on like 5.7 now, where these guys are so big, so lean, so fast. I graduated high school. I was 6'4", 225 pounds. It's a big guy. Again, I finished my college career. I was 6'6", 260 pounds. And I ran a 4.6. Sometimes a high 4.5. And now that's nothing to these guys. These guys are running 4.5s, 4.4s, big as me almost. Doesn't make any kind of sense.
Hey, those your tendons. Stretching is a big part of the
huge. Yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
that TB12 method.
Absolutely. Flexibility. I tell you, when I played, I did everything too, from Pilates. I did actually one summer we took ballet when I was at Notre Dame. A couple of us took ballet. Let me tell you right now, ballet is no joke. I'm telling you, that ballet is hard, man. That is some of the hardest stuff I ever did. Absolutely. Hands down.
Especially standing on your feet like that.
Well, not just that. So that board, right? They have a board with like these holes on it. So you have to do like a split, but in the air. And so you're grabbing this board and you're like pulling to try to do a split in the air. And then like those plies, where they have the beam right there and up and down. I'm telling you right now, it's not as easy as you think, because you got to have like the perfect posture. Your ankles are up, and you have to like the flexibility you have to have in order to like stand on your toes, but then bend and have your quads and wasn't fun.